Tonight's forecast is sponsored by Ashbrook Audiology, where relationships matter.
And glad that you're continuing to stick around here with us on the Neighborhood Network. I'm Weatherman Dustin Staples. We appreciate your time, as always, checking us out here on BTW21. That's Comcast Cable Channel 21. Of course, our friends in Pennsylvania County at Chap Moss Cable, or whether you're watching us on your social media platforms. Wherever you may find yourself, we hope you enjoyed the week so far. And unfortunately, I am the bearer of bad news because we have a very busy and unfortunately wet weekend. It looks to be a washout, indefinite for sure. So, of course, you may have been noticing, of course, several football games for high school have been now rescheduled for Thursday, due to the impending winter storm, but the impending hurricane that has been on everybody's mind this last couple of days. And of course, I've got some statistics that's going to be showing you kind of some insane stuff. I've been watching some video cameras across Florida, and my goodness, some of those cities, in particular little locations, Tampa, Fort Myers, even little beaches along outside the Fort Myers district down there. Of course, they're expected to see some of those storm surges over 4 to 6 feet of right now, and some of those have already overtaken that area because of how high the water has got. And some of those storm surges, you go on YouTube and just look up webcams along the coast of Florida right now. I mean, particularly the west coast of Florida, inside there. It's incredible stuff. I will be sharing some of those video feeds on my Facebook page. You can head over there at facebook.com/staplesweather. Check over there, and some of those impressive Fort Myers and some of those beaches are just incredible to taking a look at there as well. So if you have family or friends down there, of course, the governor declared a state of emergency and urged people to immediately evacuate. So be sure to check on them if they are down there as well. And of course, if you're avid watcher of the Weather Channel, of course I am, right? So of course you always see the famous Jim Cantori. Whenever he goes, you know there's danger in the area. Of course, the last time he was probably in this neck of the woods was a couple of years ago. We had a major windstorm that moved through. He was in Roanoke, to be a fact, and of course I think he may drive through Martinsville. I think they were getting towards Greensboro or somewhere along the North Carolina region. Anyway, so no severe weather expected today or tomorrow. We have lots of clear skies and plentiful sunshine with a fair weather, cirrus clouds mixing in from time to time, as our temperatures are going to go from the 60s to this evening, low to mid 50s later on tonight, with a partly to mostly clear sky developing for us as well. Of course, that north wind, it's going to be the primary factor. So we did wake up pretty chilly this morning, and believe it or not, our friends in Danville broke a record of a low of 40 degrees. The record was 41, and that was set back in the 1980s or so, I think it was, or the 1950s, one of those two eras. So it's been a couple of decades since Danville woke up to a record low this morning. That record was 41. It got down to 40 degrees. Not as chilly tonight as it was this morning, but still pretty crisp and cool out there. Upper 40s across much of our metropolitan areas as you're making your way out and about. Thursday, here is the calm before the storm. So one more day of nice weather. And again, if you have yet to get lawn work done, I will encourage you to get it done today, and if not tomorrow, indefinite early Friday morning, because that is most likely we're going to begin to see that rain move in. Highs tomorrow, upper 60s across here in the city and the county as well, with a mix of sun and clouds. So perfect Friday night football. I'll have that forecast coming up for you tomorrow, so you're going to get that a little different, because typically you would get that Friday or Thursday into Friday, but right now things are looking for Friday football fantastic. Nothing to be complaining about. All of our area high school footballs. Of course, our game of the week, of course, is the big old Smith River Classic. Magna Vista taking on Bassett. Who will take on that champion ring or that trophy? Well, we will see. Of course, Magna Vista has been at that for a while now, so if you keep up with the classics there, we'll let you know there the forecast on tomorrow's newscast, so you'll get the live actual weather forecast instead of a preview you typically see over the weekend. But hey, lots of sunshine out there, upper 60s, low 70s, breezy from time to time, so that, of course, may be a little bit of an interference with the football throwing. Just keep that in mind as your kids are out there. And again, good luck to all of our area high school footballs. And again, our game of the week is that Bassett Magna Vista rivalry too. So I'll have the forecast coming up for you on Thursday. Let's jump to the forecast of the tropics, because this is obviously everybody's mindset. So let's see. Let's begin here with the latest track. Again, this is going to be an updated forecast, so do be mindful of the timing of that as well. And you see that track of Ian is continued to expect to move up and across much of the east coast here, or the southern parts of Florida there this morning. Again, they have just been hammered with rainfall. Several tropical storm warnings and watches, flood watches that issued for a good chunk of that state. That is expected to become a tropical storm at some point. Will make a landfall later today. Of course, once a defiant definition of landfall is what it basically means, the eye of the storm that hits U.S. soil. So just keep that in mind. And again, by tomorrow and going into Friday, that is when we're going to begin to see that tropical storm turn to a tropical depression. Most likely our area will be seeing some of that heavy rainfall. Right now, computer models are spinning out between 2 and 4 inches of rain. We can see some localized higher amounts on that too. So if you're doing anything, just stay indoors this weekend. That is the only key factor I've got to tell you on that one. Here are some statistics and things I was able to pull together for you across Florida. If you have family and friends out there, and this was pretty stunning this morning. Again, the 11 o'clock update showed that this storm pretty much was 2 miles an hour to a Category 5 storm, which is 157 miles or greater, but it was just shy of that right there at 150 miles per hour. Peak wind gusts 190 miles, so almost 200 miles an hour. That wind was stirring up. It was moving so slow, about 9 miles an hour. And again, the pressure, basically the gradient amount of shifting. So a lot of times when you develop a migraine or a headache, we always tell you about the pressures changing. This kind of interferes with it. And the lower the pressure this drops, the intensity of the storm that continues to go. Right now, that pressure has continued to kind of stay steadily, but it's expected to rise over the next several days or so, as that storm will begin to lose a lot of its energy. But then again, just do know that if you're beginning to feel a migraine or a pressure change, that is because we are experiencing the drastic shift in this hurricane. Something else real quick, we'll wrap things up here for you. You have a lot more news coming up in just a few minutes. Again, Florida preparedness again. FEMA deployed over 700 personnel. The governor activated over 5,000 state National Guards, 3.5 million liters of water and 3.7 million meals are expected to be delivered, if not already out there. And again, they have hundreds and hundreds of generators on standby. So right now they are expected to get a brunt of this storm pretty soon. And rainfall totals there, you kind of see there in the color coordinating there, it begins to see. I'm gonna block it for you if I don't. But again, the darker the purple, this magenta shade here, you kind of see somewhere between about 10 and 15 inches of rain outside of the Fort Myers, there along the parts of the panhandle of Florida, scathing at most of it. Tallahassee, seeing some of this. Orlando, outside of Jacksonville. Of course, if you have people down there, friends out there, let them know, and you kind of see down in Miami Keys, they saw the brunt of that storm yesterday, and now it's expected to again move kind of in this general direction. I showed you the track here. Now we're beginning to tap in this rain fall, like I said. So we have got a lot to keep in mind. Again, anywhere from Augusta, outside of Georgia there, outside of Charleston, South Carolina. So if you have folks along the beaches there, just do know they're expecting some high rip currents over the next several days. Of course, that swelling of the water is most likely going to be a concern for us, that general direction as well. So right now, again, we're in that gut under the fire for between 3 and 4 inches possible. We may see some higher amounts thanks to that enhance of the mountains giving us that. And the thing about this, once this reaches landfall going in tomorrow and the weekend, this system is in no hurry to go anywhere. So right now we could see possibly the stalling out through next Tuesday at this point in time. So maybe a week from today, we could be able to dry out thanks to this hurricane that's moving in our direction. Again, most likely this storm name will most have a chance of retiring because of how catastrophic it's already been to the Bahamas, and then of course now to Florida, seeing that as well. So of course the last time they saw this was back in 2018 when Hurricane Michael came through. Now the only difference with Michael's impact, it was more so towards the panhandle of Florida, but still they saw heavy rain, and we saw the aftermath of that. Of course, you know, schools were closed for days because of that rain, and of course it prompted many of your changing of alteration of plans. So again, anybody traveling out towards Tennessee there, up towards parts of Kentucky, West Virginia, just do know you're not going to be seeing as much rainfall, but you'll see some effects with it, maybe just a typical shower moving in, or maybe the outskirts of the rip current, or the outskirts of the hurricane. All right, y'all take care. We'll talk again Thursday. We'll have your complete high school football forecast looking pitch perfect. So any of our Thursday night football games going on, which of course you can watch those on TV too, with that matter, the NFL. So we'll talk again on Thursday and tell you more about how the rest of the weekend is expected to shape up.
Your BTW21 weather forecast is sponsored by Zentmeyer Chiropractic.